Princess Leia aboard Tantive 4. We have entered the Milky Way galaxy. We are looking for a rogue stormtrooper. This stormtrooper has plans that can defeat the Empire. We're looking for a specific planet. We have explored the furthest planet from your galaxy star you call the sun, the planet Neptune. When we arrived at the planet Neptune, we noticed the dark blue color of this planet. It was very, very cold. Our report said that it was one of the coldest planets in the solar system. It was made up of methane gas and ammonia ice that circled around the planet, making the rings. We found out through these reports that this planet is named after a Roman god from the planet Earth named Neptune. It has 14 moons, we discovered, and it's also very windy and the atmosphere is cloudy. After that, we traveled to the next planet, and that planet was called Uranus. When we arrived at this planet, we found some really cool facts about it. We found that it had 18 moons, it had 13 rings, it sits on its side and spins differently than any of the other planets in this galaxy. It was an ice giant, and it was a bluish green color. And that was, in our reports, we found out because of the methane gas and the windy atmosphere that is around it. It's a very cold planet, very far from your sun. We did not find any stormtrooper on this planet, any life at all. So we went and left this planet and we traveled to the next one in search of this stormtrooper. It ended up being the planet Saturn. The planet Saturn was amazing when we came across it. It had these beautiful rings around it, and it had over 50 moons. When we went through the rings, we found out that it was mostly ice and rock spinning around, being gravitationally pulled to stay with that planet. Our reports showed that this was a giant gas planet, and it gave it like an orangey, yellow-brown color. It was very spectacular, but we did not see the stormtrooper on this planet. So we left this one, and we traveled to the next planet, which was a giant one. We arrived at the planet Jupiter. It was enormous. There was a swirling red storm on this planet. You can see it right here in our reports. The enormous size of this storm, it's hard to see in this picture, was the size of the planet Earth. It's a gas giant and also had rings like the other gas planets in this galaxy. It's very difficult to see the rings around it, but it did have 67 moons. I'm going to go ahead and scroll through this and see if the stormtrooper was located in here. No, the stormtrooper was not on Jupiter. Now we're going to have to travel to the next planet. As we left planet Jupiter, we're heading to the next planet, Mars. We got a report stating that the stormtrooper was found living on the planet Earth. We got this video of the stormtrooper.
You know, everybody told me and warned me about living with a Tusken Raider. You would think that they would be unclean people, you know, sand people, living in the desert, filthy. But no, they're clean freaks. They're neat freaks. Constantly cleaning, vacuuming, picking up. It's like I can never get comfortable in my house because all they do is clean. And I also don't understand why he's always complaining about my singing. It's like anything else. I can't hit a note. And then, he's bought all these candles. He bought them off a bunch of Jawas. And now our house smells like Jabba's palace. It's disgusting. So these Tusken Raiders are germaphobes. He's constantly asking me, have you washed your hands and so forth. I don't get it. It's not like I have bantha fodder all over my hands.
Now that we know where the Stormtrooper is, we're headed to the planet Earth to retrieve the plans to defeat the Empire. Then we're going to head back to the Rebel base. Thank you for your help. Okay, we're here to do work on our craft for this week. If you got your paperwork with your coffee filters from last week, there should be enough for this week. If not, come in and get those. And then also we have our coloring pages from NASA that has Jupiter, and then it has the spiraling South Pole on Jupiter and some information for you to color. Some information and coloring page of Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. So you can go ahead and do those. For now, we're going to go ahead. You should have colored the first four inner planets, and now we're going to color the outer planets. We're going to start with Jupiter. It's the largest one, so we didn't cut any of the paper, and it's pretty orange, and I don't have an orange marker with me because I lost it. But if you don't, if you do, you just can color some red. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then color some yellow. That should, when you spray the water, because you need a water bottle, remember? When you color that, it will turn that orange. Now, Jupiter has a giant red spot. That's what it's known for, somewhere on it. So you want to make that very dark red, so the red spot stays. Okay. You can add a little bit of brown, some brown lines if you want. However you want to do it. Okay. Then let it just sit aside, and then we will go to Saturn. Now Saturn has a lot of rings on it. Okay. We'll move these papers aside, and you can color it and look at it. Okay. Now, if you would like to do moons and stuff, get more coffee filters and add moons to it. We're going to cut this to make the rings. Just like this. Okay, so that is what they look like. Now, after you let them dry for a bit, you'll end up having, I wrote the names of them on the planets. Now they've dried, and I actually laminated them. You can use contact paper. And so we have our planets that we made, and I labeled them, and then you can hang them up on the windows, or you can make a mobile out of them. You can make moons or whatever. And just a fun, neat, little, easy craft to do to memorize the planets. Now I would, if you have time, like I labeled them, but type up or write up on a paper and put it on the back of it, information about the planet, how many moons, what it's named after, the degree, how many times it takes to go to orbit around the sun, how many hours in an Earth day, like this is 24 hours. Some of them, it doesn't take long to spin in a circle, to rotate, but it does take a long time to go around the sun, things like that. Information you want to remember about each planet. You can make them into flashcards, or you can hang them and make a mobile, put them on your windows. Just a really pretty kind of craft and easy to do. All right, and that is our craft for the week. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today and having a fun look at our planets. I hope to see you next week. Thank you. Goodbye.